Nick Robinson here for Polygon, and today I'm joined by Chris D. Grant, Media Relations Manager for Games Done Quick.
I love the clarification. I am not the Chris Grant of Polygon. We are different people.
There are multiple Chris Grants in play here. But today we're going to be taking a look at a game called Operation Alpha Zylon, which I'll admit I just noticed the word operation up there in the really tiny font.
I don't actually know if the operation's part of the name or just part of the screen. Like, I'm honestly not sure.
It might not be part of the canon title. But yeah, so we're going to be taking a look at this game for a very specific reason, which is that it happens to be a pretty fun game to speedrun. Is that correct?
It is a fun speedrun. There are some issues with it as a speedrun. And I am a speedrunner doing stuff at a Summer Games Done Quick, which is coming up next week.
Right.
So I thought I can show off, hey, maybe look at this cool kind of speedrun thing. This will not be at SGDQ. It is actually at the last event we did.
Gotcha. Now, if people want to see you actually attempt to run at Alpha Zylon, there is video that from a previous Games Done Quick event that they can watch. But today I think what we're going to be doing is you're going to be kind of walking me through how exactly the speedrunning community broke Alpha Zylon open. Is that correct?
Yes. So this is kind of a truncated version of finding glitches for speedruns, because speedrunning is cool, and a lot of what you do is you find glitches and you break games, and it's awesome because you get to make cool stuff happen in a lot of different games. To actually show off how long it takes to find glitches would take a while, though, because usually it's very painstaking, very slow and monotonous. You have to go through a lot of work to find glitches.
Yeah.
And this will be the hyper version of that.
Gotcha.
Let's find some glitches in 30 seconds.
Does it help, because obviously when you're trying to run a relatively polished AAA well-loved game, there might not be as many glitches in, say, there is an Alpha Zylon. Does it help when you're trying to break a game to play a game that is visibly glitchy like this, or is it about the same level of trial and error?
It really depends on how well made the game is. Some games, for example, Mass Effects, usually you can just kind of walk through something at certain points, just because it's a good game, but there's a lot of nuts and bolts to it, and that stuff falls apart pretty quickly.
Right.
So the basic is just finding out, okay, what can your character do? We got Alpha Zylon guy. I don't know if he has a name. I don't know if we'll ever give him a name.
So let's run through the basic moves in Alpha Zylon.
Okay.
There's that crouch, obviously.
Alright, so the basic moves okay, you can move left, you can move right. I don't know if you noticed this, but you can actually respawn guys if you go over their trigger.
Oh, interesting.
Which is why there's a big old pile of corpses here.
Right.
So you can move right, move left.
You got these bodies.
Crawl in place, and then you can kind of not crawl at all.
Now, I think Polygon.com in the past week, we've had at least one other piece of hilarious crawl speed related content, but his default crawl speed actually looks pretty slow.
This is pretty slow, but it's all about the interactions.
Okay.
So, for example, in Ocarina of Time, if Link slashes his sword and then does a crouch stab, that crouch stab damage will be what his last move was. So you do the diving attack, and then you do a crouch stab that does a lot. If you do an attack while crawling on the ground here,
okay.
you sort of start humping the air. And actually, if you do it with the downwards crawl like this, you actually go backwards very slowly.
Interesting.
So this took a whole 2 minutes to find an Alpha Zylon. Other games, it can take months, it can take days or hours.
So is that kind of like when you're trying to break a game open for speedrunning tactics, is one of the first things you do find weird interactions between different animations and how those might confer a gameplay benefit?
Yeah, it's you just find the most basic things. How does this game really work? Because a lot of games, you take it for granted. It's just okay, you do all these cool moves in a row. You usually running and jumping and stuff like that is very basic. But sometimes stuff doesn't seem to really fit like you think it will. So in this case, what happens is Alpha Zylon Man, he wants to fire his gun from this animation because he doesn't really have a firing on the ground animation.
Oh, so when you fire, he tries to get up.
He's trying to get up, yeah. And if you notice when he gets up like this, without firing, he just kind of like this is still not fast, but it's still moving up quite a bit.
I love that the developers of Alpha Zylon decided that when you get hit with a bullet, you should start smoking. Just smoke starts pouring out of AZM.
Oh, this is it's a hot game, so it makes sense. So the fun part about this glitch was you just save a bunch of time because you just can rocket through that. But that's kind of not all to this glitch. I'm actually gonna kill myself here.
Okay.
That's actually a very hard jump to make, but this glitch got further developed when we said, wait a second, let's go back to the basics. Go back just to the menu. What controls do we have? Okay, we've got forward, back, left, and it's normal stuff.
What does sensitivity do, though?
Sensitivity is, there's actually a first-person segment that we'll get to in a little bit.
There is a lot more to this game than I realized.
The description on Steam is it's a 2D and 3D game. That's the tagline. It's we got both.
They have both of them.
So
2 for the price of 1.
What if, we can set alternates for our weapons. What if we set this to Q?
Okay.
What if I can actually set it? We'll see if I can actually set it. There you go, Q.
All right.
So So now, instead of just trying to fire once, we can fire with 2 different buttons.
Oh, you have 2. Yeah, you have left mouse button and the slash, so you can alternate.
Yep. So now, whoops, I'm gonna actually.
Oh, you clip through the building though. That could be a new run.
That'll actually come up in a second. But like now, if you notice, he's actually going faster than before because we're mashing with 2 different buttons.
Right. He's spending twice as much time in that fire
get
animation.
Up animation. Yeah. So he's trying to get up, but he can't, and he's just doing. Now he's moving super fast. And like this is actually incredible. Like one of the reasons I hate practicing this game is it actually really hurts to do this trick.
Oh yeah, I can
because
imagine.
after a while, you're just mashing as like much as you possibly can.
Sort of wiggle both index fingers for the duration of the game, which I'm assuming this is not the longest game in the world, but it would still be tiring.
Oh, whoops! Actually,
what is he doing? What?
I don't know.
That's a new. See, look at that. That's a new trick for SGDQ 2016. You might have to add this game back to the roster.
You know, maybe. This is a GDQ classic. It's been in once, but it's amazing. There's actually a couple glitches that I haven't been able to reproduce in this game, where like sometimes you don't kill a guy as you're air hopping through them, and you can actually get them on the other side, but it's super inconsistent because there's so many bullets coming out that we should be like normally that guy's dying so fast because I'm firing too many bullets. Okay, so let's actually go ahead and I'm gonna stop messing around and losing. Let's
time to take this game seriously.
Yeah, let's some serious Alpha Zylon speedrunning and actually get to the next section. So let's see. I need to make sure it doesn't shoot any of the rooftop guys. This game's also really racist because I mean, like let's be real. Like they spell it out pretty clearly. It's like you have to protect the rich white guys.
Oh yeah, so all the innocent civilians just have the one skin. Is what you're telling me.
Yeah. And what's funny is like the gang leader is actually just a dude from Colombia that they reused.
I also love that like every character in this game appears to be in a totally different art style. Like nobody even the head sizes are just so inconsistent.
I don't know what they were doing with this game, but whatever they did was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like this is Game of the Year 2007.
I gotta ask, do you have any indication that the creators of Alpha Zylon have seen your speedrun of the game?
I don't know what country they're from. I think they're from the eastern part of Europe, like the old Soviet bloc. I don't know if they have. I really hope they do. I hope they appreciate it because they can't. I just hope they don't take this game seriously. Like I cannot imagine them just going like we put so many hours and really about just mostly hours, not days.
They know this isn't. Work. They know this is not Arma 4.
Yeah,
they know what they wrought.
Alpha Zylon is as Alpha Zylon does. So you mentioned like I went through a building before, which I can use here now. It wasn't like the buildings don't really have any texture underneath, like there's no solid foundation. But what you can do, let's see if I can mash enough with this, is if you jump in the air, you can actually just air fly.
Oh.
And then that's not actually going through the building. You can do that right here, and you'll die. But you'll still make it to the next screen. So this is part 2 of Alpha Zylon. We're still in third person. That is the gang leader we have to kill. He's just a...
Oh, does he have a rocket launcher?
Yes.
That's a sweet... That car has more polygons in it than the whole rest of the game combined.
This car is actually really interesting because it's also got a lot more physics. And when I say a lot more, I mean like you see the physics.
Okay.
But so what you do in this section
physics.
Is you hit this car a bunch.
Oh, my
and
car.
I'll tell you proceed just to blow it up. And it's pretty easy to smash your button. But I discovered you can still move in this game.
Yeah, what does the camera do? I guess you're supposed to just be fixed on here, but you've chosen to move.
I've walked to the side, and you can actually walk away from the car. There is no benefit to this whatsoever.
You mean to doing it correctly?
Oh, no, to doing it wrong. To doing what I'm doing is you just lose.
Well, that's something else I was curious about is, like, we obviously encountered that glitch a few minutes ago where he was flying through the air, firing his gun, and looking around. What percentage of speedrun strats do you find when you're, like, trying to uncover stuff like this that it doesn't actually help you speedrun the game, but is just silly and weird?
That stuff comes up pretty often because you got to think about it. If you want to, like, speedrun a game, you have very specific uses for the glitches.
Right.
Like, I need to get to the end of the game faster. This is like, I can walk off screen and you just see him in the background. Like, this is great.
It shows in a more pacifist route.
Yeah, but so it's like there's a lot of stuff like that, and it really depends on how you want to use it. Sometimes it's fun and cool, and it's like, all right, I got a cool visual glitch. Sometimes it's like, well, this has no purpose whatsoever, and it's not interesting at all. We'll just know it happens, and then hopefully never have to deal with it again.
Yeah.
So when I said this car had a lot of physics, it's not really the car itself, more the car husk.
Oh my god!
Like, look at those tires go.
Mission accomplished, indeed.
Okay. And the car's back. It's
wow.
physicsy still.
Oh, what is... Why is this car physics simulated when nothing else in this game appears to be?
I have no idea. Well, actually, you want physics.
I do.
We got physics coming up. Okay. So this is just a really quick glitch you can find. You can walk into this corner.
Space?
That is space. You can actually, and this is really hard to do, you can blow yourself up there.
What's damaging you here? Oh,
I have a rocket launcher.
Got it.
The thing is, it's very inconsistent to do this strategy where you launch yourself up there. This would be something like, okay, it's a cool strategy and it might work.
It's a run killer, you're saying?
Yeah. Well, it's a run killer to actually do, and it's so risky that it's like most if I was doing this like more seriously as a run, I would just try and do this normally. Let's see if I get my gun to fire. See? Hey, I made it up.
Nice.
And the problem is I'm about to die because our guy's shooting at me. And I had 0 HP for a second. The way this section normally goes, and if you watch the AGDQ run, I actually don't beat this section, and I probably won't, is you run to this corner, and dudes spawn. And so like that glitch finding of just running to the corner and trying to blow myself up, that was just like, I know what my character can do. I found out if you mash the jump button, it lets you go in a little bit further for absolutely no reason.
Okay.
And like that's how you actually get that height. You're mashing jump even though you can't jump in this section, and it lets you.
Weird.
It lets you get enough height.
Very ambitious. Very ambitious choice of them to just not show the gun from the first person at all.
Oh
just
yeah.
a little muzzle flare and that's it, huh?
I also don't know why I have a rocket launcher. I don't know if it's ever explained. Like, by the way, you got a rocket launcher too. It's coming from the left or something. Like, I love this game. This is a classic for me. Like, I paid 50 cents for it on a Steam sale, and it was worth every penny. Also, look where the bullets come from sometimes. Because a second ago they were just flying from straight up.
And I noticed when you strafe left and right, the exit point of the bullets from your body really changes.
Okay, this is I actually have to pay attention now. So this I want audio cues for this, but we don't really have a setup for that because of stuff like that. So this is why I couldn't finish the run, and this is what makes this run so hard. Is eventually cars will spawn. They're near instant kills, and they turn on a dime like that. Like you saw that. That's not how cars turn.
No, definitely not.
So.
Oh gosh.
So
do they collide with the trees?
They'll collide with the trees. They'll collide with the benches. I need to play Ring Around the Rosie.
You're kind of kiting these cars into the bench. Oh wow!
And they're car husks. They're demonic car bodies will still kill me.
Chris, I'm gonna be honest with you. This part looks kind of fun.
This is actually really fun. I love this game. I enjoy this game.
Yeah.
Unironically.
Everybody's got games like that they know like by any quantity. Oh wow, that's a tight one.
Okay, no, I'm at the bench. I'm done.
If only you could jump. If only they'd implemented jumping.
If there was jumping, I could have jumped over the bench.
Yeah.
So, like, this game is actually not the worst game I've ever played. Like, I enjoyed this game when I played through it because it's so bad that it's silly.
There was a Minority Report game on the GameCube and PS2 that I think I have a similar relationship with, where the literal only good thing about that game was it had really great shattering windows physics and really great ragdolls and a jetpack, so you could find really fun ways. That's the closest I think I've probably personally ever come to speedrunning anything, is just finding various ways to force the not Tom Cruise character in that game to ragdoll through windows with his jetpack on and shatter them.
A speedrunner actually did something sort of similar with the new Hitman game, like with the elusive targets.
Yeah.
He actually set up a kill using a fire extinguisher. He blew it up
through
a window. This. Yeah, and like that's kind of the same thing. Of just like, he's played enough of the game to mess around with the fire extinguishers and know the physics to actually get kills like that. Like, that's just kind of like speedrunning is fun as a hobby because sometimes you get murdered by cars instantly.
That's what makes it fun.
But you find cool stuff to do, and playing a game like this, I played. I'm like, I'm just gonna find something fun with this, and I did. So I want to show off one of the other levels just because.
For sure, I want to see all 3 levels of Alpha Zylon.
Okay, I'm not gonna beat all of them because frankly the other 2 are kind of boring. And when I said this game is race, this game really race. It doesn't stop. Like let's go to the Middle East now.
Maybe not the most introspective game.
Yeah. So actually, I'm gonna test something with this level that I've never tried before, which is gonna be the double primary, like double gun mashing. Wait a second, what am I doing? Whoa, that's the console.
Wow, I love the way the console just kind of smoothly comes in.
I love that there's apparently look at
minute.
Look at that file that wasn't found.
Get out.wave not found.
City bonus dude, I want that file. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me
I'm loving this idle animation too.
So I'm pausing it. I'm trying something I've never tried before. Let's the spacebar trick. Let's see if that works with double button.
Could you alternate between C and spacebar to double jump?
It looks like jump is pretty restricted. So this is my favorite thing: is look at his arm when he gets blown up.
Yeah, it just kind of. I guess that's what an explosion does.
Yeah, it's just like it's just that it just flattens.
I love that you get a dynamic, unique camera angle too. So is this supposed to be? Was this intended to be a platforming section where you're jumping over the landmines?
Yes, actually, I was actually trying not to die there, but
once you trigger the landmine and the camera changes, there's no way out, right?
Yeah. And the jump is, you have very little control over it. Like, it's just full distance all
He's
the
also
time.
kind of a slippery guy. Like, look
Yeah.
at his feet when you stop walking. He just kind of slides for a little bit after a jump.
Like, it doesn't. His shadow doesn't slide too, which is pretty
Uh-oh.
great. So, this level, there's unfortunately no way past this. It's like a death trigger once you get in front of the guy. I've tried jumping over him. You can still do an infinite jump. You just don't have enough height.
Ah, gotcha.
Let's see.
Uh-oh.
So this section is where the speed tech comes in.
Okay.
This was why I was hoping I'd be able to mash jump.
And you should, theoretically, they want you to be shooting while this is happening?
Oh, you don't have a gun for this section. You just
There's just a reticle for no reason.
Yeah, I don't know what the reticle's supposed to be. I think it's pointing towards where the car came from, but I'm actually not sure.
It feels like they're kind of going for like an Uncharted 2 shooting the car that's chasing you thing.
Yeah.
But maybe they didn't execute on it exactly right.
So the problem here is that I'm so far off the screen that enemies will start spawning, and actually...
They can kill you.
Yes, you will take damage here and possibly die if you're not ready for it. And I actually slowed down a bit to make sure I'd survive this. And let's see, over here...
Well, isn't that the classic speedrunner's conundrum, is like finding a balance between risky strats, especially when you're like live in front of thousands of people, and maybe the possibility of setting a record, you know?
I feel like as the odds go down, it's like you'll start having people drop it. Like, normally... like for a game like this, I would have just gone for it because you get to see more Alpha Zylon if I died. Perfect.
Right. Yeah. What's he doing in there?
There are explosions going off. We can't hear them right now.
Okay.
But you can see his face. You can crawl. And like this first level, it's unfortunately it's kind of like run and jump. You got some good tricks with the. Oh my god! I pressed space on accident. You got some good tricks with the truck, but it's very. This is like the base, the blasé Alpha Zylon experience.
Okay.
You gotta watch them idle. You gotta dodge some bombs and stab a couple guys. Also, look at those ammo things. Like they're held up. They make some sense, but not a lot. I'm dead.
Look at him. What was it? What did he do with his head there?
I think he bobbed his head.
Yeah, it was like a yes. A yes animation.
Right. So I'm gonna build from this level. The next
right.
section's not like it's just more of that. Like it's not really a lot different. And I'll show you the Amazon. We're gonna see the drug dealer from that first mission. Is going to be all over the place here.
He's been cloned.
Yes.
Now we're skipping a lot of the narrative here, obviously, but there's a major component of drug dealer cloning that they used to justify this in the plot, I'm sure.
Yeah. So like at this point, like coming to this level, it's once again no guns. So you don't get. This is why when I speedran the game, I didn't do the air humping here. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to show off this level because, yeah, you can move kind of fast. You can actually just moving right to left with the air hump, you get some speed. But it's not the same as the full shooting a gun and air humping,
Gotcha.
which is the most American experience in the world.
This game is one of the most ambitious bad games I've ever. Like they've got a first person, a third person, a stealth mechanic, vehicle sections practically. Like there's a lot. They really touch on a lot of genres.
They try a lot, to be quite honest. Like it's not very good, but they try.
Yeah.
You can see these little rings of we're gonna see. Is there any way you can turn up the audio so you can hear this? Because the best sound in gaming is about to come up in a few seconds.
All right.
Oh, oops, I died. There are some like brushes on the ground, like a ring of leaves. Also, the sounds in this game are just in general amazing.
Yeah.
Like, look at the delay on. Well, not look at, but hear the delay on that sound.
Is he saying die?
Yes. I think that's them saying it.
Oh.
This is the best sound in video gaming.
What? Was it Simlish? Oh, there he goes! He just strolls out.
Yep. There he is. There's the hostage.
Just right in the foreground with his full giant GoldenEye 007 3-polygon head.
I think GoldenEye might have looked a little bit better, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, this section you have hostages you can save. That's your health pack.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see.
Well, yeah, they really, like, you can almost see the dev doc for this game. The design doc for this game must have been, they had a lot of ideas. They had the problem with this game is not a shortage of things they wanted to try.
Oh yeah, no, they go, oh man. What the heck? I died. Let's see. I've also noticed that on different systems, this game actually runs differently.
Oh, that's a fun...
It's usually kind of the speed of the game and some of the interactions of the characters. This time, like, that death I think was because I slowed down a bit, so they were out of position. But some systems, this game's actually significantly harder and, very risky to actually play through.
Huh.
Let's see. So let's see if I can show you the first-person section here. This is the first-person sections in these other stages are much worse, unfortunately, than the car shooting level. The problem is that they're timed auto scroller like wait sections. You have to survive X minutes, protect a guy for Y minutes. It's just like, who cares about that? I just want to shoot cars. Is that a lot to ask for? I want to shoot cars that...
Especially when that's, like, clearly the best part of the game.
Yeah.
They really should have tripled down halfway through development on the car shooting stuff.
The ghost car shooting is fantastic. Like, ghost car shooting, 10 out of 10, game of the year.
Right.
Everything else, it's okay. Air humping, like, 9 out of 10.
That's true. Like, I can't think of many games that do that better.
Oh, I jumped right into that spike pit. Okay. I mean, well, actually, let's give a shout out. This has been a fun exploration of Alpha Zylon. Shouts to the 5 people that made this game.
Wow, in hindsight, that's quite an
impressive
accomplishment.
now. Yeah, and look, their name is Team 6, and they still only had 5. Like, you know what?
Do you think there was like a tumultuous development where the 6th guy left halfway through? He was like, "This is not my vision for Alpha Zylon."
I'm guessing the 6th guy was one of these roles of design, graphics, audio, animation.
I'm going to say
scripting.
graphics. I think if one person didn't, or I guess it could have been animation too, though. Huh?
Well, because look at Ronnie. He did everything.
He really took the brunt of this himself.
So it's like maybe that's why there's some issues. Just Ronnie had too much on his plate.
I believe it. But Chris, thank you so much for showing off these sweet Alpha Zylon or Operation Alpha Zylon, depending who you ask, speedrunning strats. If people want to tune into Summer Games Done Quick, what are the dates this year?
July 3rd to July 10th. It'll start at noon Central Time. Just go ahead. We have Super Mario Sunshine kicking it off. It's an actual normal game that is not Alpha Zylon. So
Right.
Highly recommend it. Check it out. It's going to be a fun week. We don't stop at all. Like, it's non-stop speedruns for the full week.
I'll say that in my household, we basically set up Twitch on the Chromecast and just have it running on our TV non-stop for every day of the event, just because there's always something entertaining happening during Summer Games Done Quick.
It is our goal to ruin your week if we can.
It really, I think productivity across the nation, anyone who has a desk job probably becomes half as productive during SGDQ. But thanks so much, Chris.